Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Ask Dr. Darwin. I'm Dr. Darwin Hayes, a new dentist coach, here to answer your questions about anything related to becoming a dentist, whether you're a pre-dental student, current dental student, resident, or recent grad. I'm here to help you. My goal and my purpose is to help as many new dentists as possible with professional and personal development. And this is my way of adding some value and giving back to the dental profession, but more specifically to those of you that have questions about the profession and the entry and the progression and development into dentistry. So today's episode, we have a pre-dental student who's in preparation for dental school, and he had a couple questions. He hit me up. Saw a couple of videos here on YouTube, and hit me up via email. And you guys can do that too. newdentistcoach@gmail.com. newdentistcoach@gmail.com. Ask a question, and I'm here to answer. So he had a question regarding his pre-dental student status and what he was doing with regards to applying to dental school in this upcoming cycle. So he wanted to get some information about reaching out to schools and things like that. So actually, I'm gonna let you guys kind of hear his story, and he can tell you more about it. Okay, he's actually on. Let's see. I think we're in a different time zone, so we'll see if we'll make sure we're able to get him on the call. His name is Kirk. Kurt. All right. So let's see if we get Kurt on the call and see what's happening. How we can help him out.
Hello?
Hi, is this Kurt?
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Hey, Kurt, it's Dr. Hayes. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good. So I'm glad we finally got a chance to get together and talk a little bit about your question and your situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into your question, and then we'll answer it as best as possible, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Just so you know, cool. I'm recording it for you so that anytime you want to go back to the recording and kind of listen, you'll have it, okay?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your situation.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so I graduated from UC Santa Barbara, California a couple of years ago. And then I applied to dental school after that. And I don't know, my GPA wasn't like that strong, and I kind of put together an application that I wasn't very proud of, and then I didn't really know what I should do to improve. But then this last year, I actually completed a post-bac at a local college. So I basically completed like 45 units of division science, got a 4.0 and all of that. So that's definitely been a big, I think will be a big help as I'm getting ready to apply again. Right now it's already June. So the main question I had, I've been doing everything I can. Been doing a lot of volunteering. I started working in a dental lab this past year, which has been a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the last piece of the puzzle that I've talked to some other students in dental school, and also just kind of watching a few of your videos, is I want to try to learn how to figure out how to kind of contact dental schools. So they know who I am, and that I'm really interested. And I'm kind of having a hard time with that. Like I don't want to just ask them silly questions, but I also don't know what else I should do to kind of keep up some contact and like maintain some relationship with them. Okay.
So your question deals with contacting dental schools and how to go about it without them, without you appearing silly or appearing pushy or similar to that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like kind of what should be kind of the talking points. Should I just be asking them questions about their program or applying? I'm kind of just trying to figure out what kind of line I should walk on.
Right. Okay. Well, great question, man. I think your question is common to a lot of people who are applying and just trying to figure out a little bit more how maybe to get an edge or just to just make everything go right. So real quick, you said you just finished a post-bac program?
Yeah, I just had my last final on Thursday.
Oh, that's great, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now that was like a biological science master's. What was that?
Yeah, so basically, it's a program they have here at California State University. It's called like the pre-professional health academic program.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you get to just take. It's nice. It's fairly structured. You get to take just they have kind of pretty much any upper division bio class that you could ask for. A lot of specialized kind of ones, and you get to take in like fairly small classes. So the classes are pretty helpful. And it's pretty tough, but you know you can work hard and do well like I did.
That sounds good. Now, quick question: Who advised you or told you to do that?
I kind of just figured it out on my own after kind of just reading around the internet on trying to figure out what I should do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did some research and just kind of figure it out on your own. And okay, that's good, man. That was a good plan of action because that's typically what some people will do. Also, did you mention that you applied before and didn't get in, or this will be your first time applying?
Yes. So I applied last year. So I went until that was before I had started this post-bac program. And actually, the other thing is I took my DAT last year pretty late, like in the end of September, which is really, really late. So schools probably got my application in like October. Actually, I got a couple of interviews, but they're really late, so I was just on the wait list for both of them.
Okay. So you did apply, got some interviews, and was waitlisted. That's what it sounds like, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, man. Well, that's remarkable, man. I mean, to go through that first process and actually get some interviews and get some conditional acceptance or waitlisting.
Waitlisting. Yeah. So I was hoping, because I felt like my applications improved like a ton this time around. So I'm happy that even last year with what I felt was pretty weak compared to what I'll have now, to get that was good and also gave me some good experience.
Good. So you're kind of like coming to this this whole process with some experience, so to speak, some experience with regards to having applied before and going to the interview and kind of knowing what that environment is like. I'm interested in finding out where you got waitlisted.
Yeah, it was the University of Detroit Mercy,
mm-hmm.
and that new school in New York, Touro.
Okay, so Detroit Mercy and Touro.
Mm-hmm.
And before applying to those schools, did you know anybody there?
No.
Do you have how many schools did you apply to last year?
I think like 16.
16. And of those 16s, how many did you get interviews?
Just those two.
Just those two, Detroit Mercy and Touro.
Right.
Okay. All right. So 2 out of 16. Any of those schools that you applied to, did you know anybody there?
No, not at that time.
Not at that time.
In the past year, kind of through this program, that I've made a lot of connections at UOP and UCSF. I live in the Bay Area, so I've attended kind of a lot of events that UCSF and the UOP have been putting on the past year.
Okay. And well, are they like this things? I know the couple of dental school organizations will have things like called Impressions Program or.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I've been trying to go to all of those. UCSF has actually put on a lot. They're they really have a lot of organizations, and their students really reach out to try to help people applying. They've put on probably 6-7 events, and I've been trying to go to all of them.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, to kind of, and I was asking those questions to kind of prelude what I recommend based on your particular situation. Because your question is how to contact dental schools. What not knowing what to do, but what are some of the questions and some talking points. So, based on what you've told me already, you've got like your foot in the door. Now we got to get the whole foot, your ankle, your knee, and the whole other side of your body in the door here. But I mean, you're real close, man. You're real close, and I think a lot of it now is based on some taking things to the next level, meaning taking the connections that you've established, taking the actions that you've performed over this last year as part of your post-bac program, and also being involved with UOP and UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, taking that to the next level. And what I mean by that is at UOP, UCSF, Detroit Mercy, and Touro, at those 4 schools right now, you have connections, right? You've got connections. But it's just like any other type of situation, you have to develop those relationships, all right? So, for example, the people that you met, that you interviewed with at Detroit Mercy and Touro, when's the last time you talked to any of them?
I've sent them, a few emails and stuff, but kind of just never. Most of the time, just don't reply.
Never.
So
what?
I haven't really talked to them much. No.
Okay, so of those 4 schools that you mentioned, and then these last 2 where you got waitlisted, I think there's a golden opportunity for you to really spearhead your efforts on these 2 schools that you've already somewhat kind of got into as a waitlist person. I mean, you're in the school. It's just not 100%. So you've got to really continue to establish that relationship. I mean, they don't waitlist people just because. They waitlist people because they're actually saying to you that we accept you, but you're one of 150 people, but we only take 100, or we only take 120.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes that also means, at least in my mind, that if it was a different circumstance, or there were less people that they accepted before you, or if you had applied early and you were earlier in the interview cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You probably would be getting ready to prepare for the class of 2021 right now. So that leads me to one tactic that I wanted to mention real quick before we continue, which is, this time around you got to apply early.
Yeah.
Got to apply early, and you've seen from your experience this year why that's important, right? Yep. The whole notion of getting to know you and then having your name on the list for the first 100 people versus you be on the next 100 people on the list. So go early. Number 2, I would recommend that whoever you spoke to, whoever you met, whoever you talked to at the interviews, if it was students also at Detroit Mercy and also at Touro College, you imperative, you've got to follow up with them. You may not have done this when you were there, but I tell people, anytime you're in an environment where you're meeting people for the first time, at some point you want to get their business card, telephone number, and email, because at some point you want to be able to follow up with them. There's a saying in sales. There's a couple of sales gurus or people that are known in sales. The fortune is in the follow-up. Have you heard that before, that expression?
I've heard something similar, I think.
Yeah. Well, in this particular case, as it applies to you, is the fortune, which is dental school admittance, is in the follow-up. You following up and maintaining that relationship or those connections that you've established. So, especially those 2 schools, because you're halfway in the door right there. Now, as it pertains to UOP and UCSF, I mean, you've mentioned that you've been making some connections and have made connections there, those 2 schools, through their pre-dental impressions program. So when you say connections, it's a matter of now, what's the next step? For me, if you've met dental students there, I would, follow up with them and try to go to the school when they have other types of events. Lots of times, some of those students, especially the D3s and D4s, some of them are participants in the admissions committee because a lot of schools want to have some student representation. So as you have established some initial contacts at both of those schools, now you've got to dig deeper. You got to go deeper and find out from those students who is on the admissions committee. Those are the people that you want to meet because those are the people that are going to possibly speak on your behalf and or give you names of people, other faculty members that are on the admissions committee, so that maybe you can send and correspond to them. So I think those two strategies right now you have as an advantage. You just have to dig a little deeper and really work how you are already connected to those 4 schools.
Okay.
All right. So I guess the next question really is, well, how do you do that? Like for example, Detroit Mercy and Touro, even though they're on the opposite coast of you, maybe getting an opportunity to go visit, but which you've already done. So maybe not so much now, but reestablishing those connections that you maybe made there. I would even go on the website, look at a couple of the school's organizations, and maybe try to contact one of the D2, D3, or upcoming D4 students and find out. Just start trying to meet some people. Talk to them. Say, I'm an aspiring dental student. I applied, got waitlisted. Has there been any changes at the school? Anything new coming up for this year? Who do you know that's on the admissions committee? Are you guys having any events coming up? Just inquiries. You have to ask around.
Right.
Lots of student organizations, whether they be medical or dental school, a lot of organizations have Facebook pages, right? A lot of schools or organizations will have Instagram pages.
Right.
Man, and this is one advantage that current new dentists have that we didn't have 20, 25 years ago when we were applying to dental school, but you've got a resource and the ability to research these schools, but also socially through social media, make connections through direct messaging and just following people. So
interesting.
Yeah, I would actually consider, as part of your deeper dive, contacting the schools or finding out where they are on social media. Right?
Okay.
So Facebook, Instagram. Those are the two biggest ones. Maybe Snapchat, I don't know so much so, but definitely Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And how to find those out? You just go to your search in both of those. And just find those out. Additionally, you can go on Google. Just do a Google search, and if they have a page, they'll be listed. So that's one of the things I would do for Detroit Mercy and Touro. Same thing with UOP and UCSF. I mean, I would do the same thing there, but also because you're closer and because that's right in your backyard and you've actually been there already and established some contacts, whoever you've talked to, now is the opportunity. Now you have the opportunity to ask them, all right, you're D2. Who do you know that's actually on the committee? Or do you know? And even though they may not know, they may have a classmate or somebody in the upper class who may know, right? Because what you're trying to do is did you apply to UOP and UCSF last year?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're trying to find out is who is on those committees, who are the faculties on those committees, so that you could potentially send them a note or visit during this application process and go visit before the application process starts or the interviews start, right? And the reason why I say that is strategically, if you can, and if you're able to, you want to be able to put your face, to the application or the piece of paper that you're going to be submitting. Now, keep in mind, most of these schools, you pretty much are aware of this, but most of these schools, for 100 slots, they're probably getting, I don't even know, probably
like 3,000.
Yeah, anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 applications, man.
Yeah.
So, and as a program director myself, we get close to 150 applicants for 30 spots. So it's a lot of paper that we look at.
Yeah.
But the thing is, how's your application gonna pop out and get noticed from everybody else? Now, of course, there are things like of course, your DAT, your GPA. Those are things that programs and actually schools will use to probably, if they have a pile, they'll use it to put one thing on one, maybe candidate on one side versus another based on their GPA and based on their DAT score. So both of those things you're working on right now with your, you say you got a 4.0 in your post-bac program?
Yeah, so before my overall GPA was like around a 3.3, and my science like a 3.1, and then now it's gone up to overall close to 3.5, and science is about 3.4.
Okay, so good. So so that takes care of your GPA. Usually after that, you really can't do anything else about your GPA. But
yeah, that's about it.
But you can do something about your DAT score.
Right.
So when you took it the last time, even though you took it late, what was your score then?
It was 20.
20, okay. Now for some schools, that's about, that's the average. That's where they want.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if you did if you did this before, but of those 16 schools, which schools had an average of GPA, DAT of 20, or which schools had a requirement of a DAT that was higher than a 20?
I think UOP is usually one of the schools that I think the average DAT at UOP is like 22.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably a little higher.
Yeah, but the rest of the schools are around 20.
Okay, so that could be a reason maybe why, you weren't invited or granted for an interview, just based off of that particular measurement, that DAT score. Right. So this time around, as you're looking at applying to schools, I don't know if they're going to be the same ones that last time, but you need to also research those schools and see, based on your current DAT, where you fit in on that measuring stick or that measuring rod, I call it, of DAT score. I've done all that research when I was trying to make my list. Yeah. All right, good. So once that's done, since you've done that, now it's just really to you just got to crush the DAT, man. Mm-hmm. You got to get a 22, 23.
Yeah.
22 or higher will probably start to write your ticket at a couple schools that you maybe did not get interviews at, or even schools that weren't even on your horizon the first time. So that's another way that you get contact from the schools based on your DAT having a higher score. Right. So, are you taking some type of DAT type of prep class or things like that?
I'm not doing a prep class, but I have like a program that I'm following. I'm going to take it like in a month.
Okay. And when are you planning on taking the DAT?
Taking it, I think July 14th.
Okay, so you got 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So a couple of recommendations based on some input that I've had from pre-dents like yourself and also current dental students that just got in is, and you may have heard of these programs, DAT Destroyer. Yep. And there's another one. I can't recall it right now. It's probably in one of the videos that I recorded. I just can't recall it. But there's another one that people have been using.
Bootcamp?
What is it called?
Boot camp?
Boot camp. I think it is the boot camp. Yeah, I think it is the boot camp. Those two, man, I've been hearing nothing but great things from students like yourself. So whatever that is, whatever that costs, whatever the time commitment is, dive deep on that, because you already know what you got to do. You got to get a 22 or higher to increase your chances of being connected to a couple more schools than what you were last time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm doing all that, and I didn't do it the first time around, so I think that's going to help.
Yeah.
Those programs.
Yeah. So I mean, you got 3 things that you're working on or about to work on that are really going to answer your question as far as how to contact schools. Starting early, following up with those 2 schools that you've already connected with, but also following up with the 2 schools that are locally, and then social media, going into those Facebook, IG pages and finding out more, connecting with people who are running, students that are running the pages or whoever's running those pages, to find out who's on the admissions committee, who's that person, how can I meet that person, especially if they're right there in San Francisco. All right, and then of course the DAT, which you're already doing, changing your approach to it this year as far as utilizing those supplemental studies. Right. So I think that's going to be good.
Yeah. So what do you think for other schools, on the rejection letters, they're like, oh, if you want to talk about your application, contact us. You think I should do that? Like, obviously I know what I need to improve. I don't actually have questions about that, but you think I should kind of follow those email addresses from the schools that other schools I applied to and contact them? Absolutely,
man. Because look, here's the deal. Let's go back. Let's reverse engineer why we're even talking. Right? The reason why we're talking is because your goal is to what?
To get into dental school.
Get into dental school. Get into dental school. Get into dental school and graduate in 4 years. Or if it's UOP, it's 3 years. I think they still have that accelerated program. So get into dental school. So everything and all of your actions, activities, thoughts, and what you're doing right now should lead directly to that goal and that target and that purpose. All right? As long as it's legal, as long as you're not hurting anybody or killing anybody or anything like that, whatever you do to get there is fair game. So, as it relates to you calling people or you emailing people, yeah, man, you got to. I mean, outside of them knowing that you submitted an application and they rejecting you for that particular period of time, that's the only contact that they have with you and that they know about you, right?
Yeah. So what should I be saying to them?
Tell them you want to come to a visit. I would come to visit, or that you're going to be applying again and looking forward to getting an interview at their school, right? It's kind of hard if you don't have a connection to the school. Meaning, if you have a friend, or you have a friend of a friend, or you know somebody that's at the school, you can always leverage that connection as part of your strategy to kind of try to connect with other people that are at the school. You can always, say, hey, I'm in the area, or I'm coming to the University of Penn. I'm coming to Philly this summer. Wanted to meet you and say hello. Right? So if you actually are going to be in Philly, it's great. But if you weren't and you still, there's some other schools in that area. Say there's 3 or 4 schools on the East Coast that are all kind of close to one another. New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and D.C. or Virginia. You may plan a week and just come to those schools and just come visit. Especially if you have somebody who can give you a tour, so to speak. Having a student that's there, because most schools may frown upon you just coming, so to speak.
Yeah.
But then again, what's your goal and your purpose? And why are you doing it? Your goal and the purpose is to get into dental school, but you got to get into dental school via getting people to know who you are. And you got to remember, the admissions committee, usually the only way that we know as as directors or of heading committees for admission, all we have to go by is your application and maybe a photo. That's it. And what's on your application. It's nice to be able to connect the dots and have a face and a one-on-one with someone, and then also have their application too. So again, it all goes back to what I call getting out of obscurity. Getting out of obscurity. How can I get in front of some of the decision makers that are going to be responsible for looking and deciding on my fate as a new dentist, as a candidate for this dental school. So it's a little bit different than what people are used to. It's a little bit different than what people probably have told you. People have probably told you, "Oh no, don't do that. You know, you're going to be looked upon as a nuisance or a pain in the butt." Yeah, but at the same time, your goal is to get into dental school. Going to visit the school and asking to meet, the dean or meet other faculty members, it's fair game, because you got to remember too, it's not about the school selecting you, it's about you selecting the school too. I mean, depending on what school you're going to, I mean, you're looking anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 a year. Yeah. You are actually paying them to train you.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a win-win for you too on your side, right? So if you think about it, or you have that mentality or that viewpoint, you're going to check out the schools because you're looking as to what's going to be the best school for your investment. Right? So you can have that viewpoint and be like, well, all the schools that I'm applying to that I really like, I'm going to go visit. And I don't care what people say or what, how it's looked upon, because my viewpoint is I'm researching and checking them out just like they're going to be looking at my credentials. I'm looking at their credentials, and I want to be actually there on ground zero at the school to see what the environment is like. So that's fair game, man.
Okay.
I think that's fair game. It's just that I don't think a lot of people consider it because they're not told that. But that's fair game, because at the end of the day, it's all about your goal and your target and your purpose, which is to get into dental school.
Right.
So if you've got other schools like in California or even Utah, on the West Coast that you're thinking about, if you can get there and you can, if you made some connections through some students, say, hey, I'm going to be I'm going to be down in Southern California in a couple of weeks. I'd like to hook up with you, just maybe, find out more about the school or find out more about your experience at the school.
Right.
Take Southwest, take an hour flight, drive down 6 hours, go to UCLA, go to USC, go to Loma Linda, go to Western University, and check out the schools, man. Try to find out. When you get there, find out who else you can meet. Who else is on the admissions committee? Get their name, get their card, and when you do meet them, follow up. Follow up. So that when it comes time for applications, and if they're on the committee, then there may be a connect, right? There may be a connect. This is Kirk. This is the guy that came visited in July, and we had something in common. He knows my cousin that graduated from UC Santa Barbara. Whatever the connection is, when you go meet people, when you're networking, find out something, at least one or two things where you guys have a connection or a similarity.
Right.
And when you follow up with them, make sure that you reinforce that connection of how you guys, what you have similar. Because when your name comes up again, or when you call them, or where they see you, see one of your emails, they're going to think back to that connection possibly.
Right.
So that's fair game, man. That's fair game. Think of it like this too. People in business, how business is conducted. Usually people do business with entities, organizations, or individuals where they have something in common or someone that they know.
Yeah.
It's just like getting a referral from a family member. One of your family members says, hey, Kirk, this is great dentist that's up on 4th Street, uptown. I highly recommend him. You're probably more likely to go to that dentist versus one that you Google that you don't have any connection with, don't have any knowledge about, just because your family member, you trust them and it's a word of mouth referral and you trust them for helping you. So you're probably more likely to go to that person versus somebody that you don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's the same. It's the same here, man. It's the same concept, same viewpoint. It's just that it's dentistry as it relates to the business of getting into dental school and connecting with people.
Mm-hmm. So I want one kind of random question. From watching your videos, like I know you coach like a lot of like African American students. I'm not, but what do you think? Like I'm Indian. Do you think I should be applying to like Howard or Meharry, those schools?
Well,
I know they do accept other people, but I know they want kind of that commitment to work in underserved areas and that kind of stuff. So do you think it's worth applying? And if so, how do you convey that?
So good question.
Okay.
Good question, man. I tell you this. You've got to do your research on the schools.
Mm-hmm.
All the schools. Because until you do that, you'll realize that dental school is dental school.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with race.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really just one race. It's the human race. Right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, schools want candidates that are sometimes that can help fulfill their mission.
Right.
Just because a school that is predominantly this or predominantly that does not mean that only students that fit or look like them are going to fit the mission. There's underserved areas all over the place. There's underserved areas right there in UOP in San Francisco, across the street, across the bridge in Oakland. There's underserved areas in LA that both UCLA and USC service as much as possible. So once you do your research and look at schools like a Howard or even a Meharry, you'll find out that just because they're at historically black universities does not mean that's the only type of student that they take or that they're looking for.
Okay.
You've got students from all different types of backgrounds at Howard, at Meharry, at Maryland, at NYU, even at schools where there are typically more of an emphasis on religion. Loma Linda, the new dental school that's in Utah. I mean, those two schools, they've got applicants and students that they feel will meet the mission and the objectives of the school. So again, there's no need for you to limit yourself based on either a stereotype or misconception. But once you do your research and find out what I'm telling you, you have to find that out for yourself and see it for yourself.
Okay. But
I think you'll be very surprised as to the dynamics, not only on those schools but other schools across the country. So when I tell people my purpose is to help as many new dentists as possible, I don't say black, I don't say white, I don't say Indian, I don't say purple, I don't say yellow, I don't say brown or red.
Yeah.
I said new dentists. So that's my goal, to help anybody and everybody. So that's hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. I mean, and if you want to put a spin on it, you can actually, when you do your research, you may want to look at schools that take the highest number of Indian new dentists. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a strategy.
Yeah, I don't even know where I'd find that, because usually they just categorize under Asian. So
That's true. But that's where you would find more of that information is through ADEA, the American Dental Education Association. They have all of those demographics. Also, the ADA has American Dental Association has all those demographics, how they categorize and how they stratify those categories. But better yet, you can just go to each of the dental schools through ADEA or even go on ASDA. Go on to the ASDA website, American Student Dental Association. There's a section on there for pre-dents, and they have a list of all the schools. A link, and all you do is push that link at that school, and then you'll be on that school's homepage, and you can look at under the admissions, look at the diversity, look at who are the students that they're selecting. That's another strategy that you can utilize. So
cool.
at the end of the day, I tell you this: there's no need to limit yourself. All the schools, all the 66 now 67 schools in the U.S. is fair game. It's fair game. Whether they're on the East Coast, West Coast, South, North, East Giblet, as long as they're accredited, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And, you want to be looking for a program where not only that you get a school that you get into, but also a school that's going to support you as a student through those 4 years. DDS is usually 4 years, unless it's UOP or I think there's another school that might have an accelerated program. But you want a school that's going to support you as a student and get you through those 4 years. So that's also something that you want to take into consideration. That's half the battle is just getting into school, but then once you get in school, now you got 4 years of getting through and getting out. And lots of times that's done. It's not done by yourself, man. It's done through a team of faculty and students, friends that'll be part of your class and everything else. So it takes a village to kind of get you through.
Yeah. That's one of the things I was really impressed by when I interviewed at Detroit Mercy. Like talking to the students there. Whenever the students they feel like something is something wrong with scheduling or just any improvements, basically the school listens to them and makes those improvements quickly. They really take feedback seriously. That was really cool.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So if that's something that you like and that's important to you, and since you already interviewed there and been waitlisted, man, I would be jumping all over Detroit Mercy as to find out who is the person I need to talk to continue to build this relationship so that coming in the fall, not only do I get an interview, but I get an acceptance.
Right.
And again, like I said, if this is a school that you're strongly considering, you got to be all over that, man. I mean, relentless, because that's in direct alignment to what you're saying is your goal and your purpose. So I don't know who you met. Did you meet students there?
Yeah.
Did you connect with anybody?
Not really, no.
Okay, well then
I have. Yeah, I mean, I got the card of the people who interviewed me, and that's about it.
Okay, well, that's where you start. That's that right there is the ultimate answer to your question today. How do I contact schools? You contact schools via the students and the people that are already there, and you got. You're 80% there. You got a name of a student, you got their car, you got their telephone number, maybe the email address. I'll be blowing them up. Hey, this is so and so. I interviewed there. I met you at the interview. Thanks so much again for helping me during my day. I'm reapplying. Just wanted to reconnect with you. When's the time I can talk to you real quick? 10, 15 minutes. Set up a time. Call them. If you're planning on going back out there, that's fine. But if you're not, reestablish that contact, and then once you're able to do that, dig deeper, go one step deeper, and say, all right, do you know anybody on the admissions committee? Who's on the admissions? How does admissions work at Detroit Mercy? Are you familiar with it? I don't know, but my big sib is slated to be on it. Oh, great. Who's that? I'm serious, man. It's about relationships.
Yeah. I'll try to do that.
Why not? And of course, I'm gonna tell you right now, other people that you tell that you're doing this. They'll be like, why are you doing that? Oh, no, don't do that. That's not right. Yeah, but are they in dental school yet? Have they gotten into dental school yet? And probably the answer is no.
Right.
So, don't do the same thing that everybody else does. Be a little different so you get a different result. And then, because what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. You have more to gain than you do to have anything lose. And so what? So what if somebody laughs at you, or if someone says, oh, you think that someone may look down upon that? Like I said, man, it's all fair game. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are at the school now have done worse things to get into dental school than you just initiating and developing a contact or relationship with somebody. So, and unfortunately, man, this is one thing that, you don't get taught in high school. You don't get taught in college how to kind of go hand to hand, business to business, face to face, and how to network. Because that's basically what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're doing. You're just networking. You're kind of doing it on the grad level now. 500, 600, 700 level.
Yeah.
So, I would be all over Detroit Mercy, man.
Okay.
And same thing at Toro. I mean, that's a new school, but it's one of, 3 other schools in the area. But, they gotta fill a class. They have to fill a class because they're a new school too. So same thing applies to Toro. Any and everyone that you met, that you remember, go on the website, go on the social media, go on the school website, and I would get reconnected with them ASAP.
Okay.
ASAP.
And then from watching your other videos, I've seen that like you recommend a few people that students should contact at some schools. Like, is there anyone that you could recommend me I should start contacting?
Well, I think in your particular case, without knowing all the schools, and maybe we can talk more offline. Without knowing all the schools, I would need to know more information about the other 12 schools that you applied to. Detroit Mercy, I do have a couple of contacts, both in the SNDA and also in the I think the Office of Diversity. Toro College, I don't know anyone that's in the dental school. UOP, I don't know anyone. UCSF, I have a former resident or a current resident that just graduated last year, 2016, who's actually going back to California. I could put you in contact with her. I'm sure she still knows most of the people that are at the school there currently. But the other 12 schools, you just have to let me know. Send me an email, and
I'll send you an email.
And I'll go through my my network and see who's there. But I'm glad you asked that question, because that's the thinking that you got to have. Who do I know, or who can I get to know at these schools? And if I don't know somebody, who do I know that may know somebody? Because it only takes one connection, man. Everybody that you meet knows at least 50, 70 people, and then each of those 50 or 70 people know 70 to 50 people. So just through one connection, your I call it your power base of networking of people becomes very, very big very quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you actually asked that question. That's a great question, man. That tells me you're on the right track. You're on the right track.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. I'll definitely send you an email then with the schools I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that sounds good. And let's you say you take the exam in July. Let's follow up sometime, maybe the end of July or in August, to see how you think you did. I know usually, I think now those DAT scores come out pretty quick. Usually a couple of weeks.
You hit submit and it pops up.
Oh, right there at the test center?
Yeah, a second later.
Oh, get out of here. Are you serious? Wow. Wow. Well, there you go. So let's plan on talking after you take the DAT, because that'll be one of the checklist items that'll be a way that you connect with schools. Shooting for a 23. Actually, let's shoot for a 24. I'd rather you fall short on a 24 than fall short on a 22, because if you fall short on 22 on 24, you probably got a 23 or 22.
Yeah.
That's just my viewpoint of how I look at it, man. So. So
cool. Well, sounds good.
Well, great, man. Hey, I'm so glad that we connected. Hope it's been helpful. And again, I'm here to help you as much as I can. Feel free to. We'll definitely stay in contact. We'll follow up in a couple months after you take the DAT. But if you know other people that have some questions and that I can help, maybe a little bit more unique to their particular situation, let's do it, man. Just refer them over to me. I'm trying to help them as much as possible.
Okay, yeah, I really appreciate you doing this. It's awesome.
Hey, no problem, man. Hey, you'll have your turn one day, 10 years from now.
Yeah.
That's all I ask, is that you give back. That's all.
Okay.
All right, Kirk. Good talking to you, and good luck in the exam in about 4 weeks.
All right, thank you. Cool.
You're welcome.
Send you an email. Cool. I'll send you an email later today with the schools.
Sounds good, man. And congrats again for completing that post-bac program. Well done.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, take care, man.
Okay, have a good one.
All right, you too. All right, another successful coaching call. Man, this guy's on the ball here. He's this close to dental school. Got 2 wait lists and got some new strategies today that'll help, really help him kind of fine tune and connect with schools and how to connect with them. And get that target completed so he can check it off, hopefully being a class and being admitted into the class of 20. Let's see, that would be 8. So 2022. Hey, again, it's Dr. Hayes. My goal and purpose is to help you guys, help you as many new dentists as possible. Help as many new dentists as possible. If you have questions, shoot them to me right here. Boom, boom, boom. newdentistcoach@gmail.com. You can also check everything on my website, drdarwinspeaks.com, and also on my YouTube channel, Dr. Darwin Speaks. Share it. Help one of your friends, colleagues. If you're mentoring students, help them continue to help them with the things that you do, but also share this link and this information with them. Thanks so much. Have a good day.